Think the most terrifying places in the universe exist in some far-off galaxy? Think again. The most spine-chilling realm isn't light years away. It's right beneath our feet. We're talking about a world where sunlight never reaches, where pressure could crush you in an instant, and where temperatures hover just above freezing. But here's the jaw-dropping part. This isn't some lifeless void. It's actually teeming with creatures so bizarre, so utterly alien, that they make science fiction monsters look like cuddly pets. Welcome to the deep sea, where evolution has gone absolutely wild. We're diving into a place where gentle filter feeders transform into ruthless predators, where creatures carry their own built-in flashlights, and where some animals have mouths bigger than their entire bodies. The deeper we go, the weirder things get. And there's actually a fascinating reason why these creatures make our skin crawl. The journey into nightmare territory begins at just 200 meters down, in what scientists call the mesopelagic zone, better known as the twilight zone. Here's where things start getting seriously creepy. And it all begins with a simple physics lesson that'll blow your mind. Red light, with its long wavelength and low energy, is the first color to vanish completely in these depths. Most people don't realize this creates an incredible opportunity for the creatures living here. Enter one of the ocean's most misunderstood residents, the vampire squid. Just hearing that name probably sends chills down your spine, right? When you first glimpse this creature in the glow of a submersible's lights, you'd swear you're looking at something straight out of a horror movie. Its blood-red skin seems to absorb light, while enormous eyes glow like demonic orbs in the darkness. Spine-like projections jut from its tentacles, giving it the appearance of some underwater demon ready to strike. But here's the plot twist that'll shock you. This terrifying-looking beast is actually one of the ocean's most peaceful residents. Despite its fearsome appearance and bloodthirsty name, the vampire squid doesn't hunt living prey at all. Instead, it's what scientists call a detriver, surviving almost entirely on marine snow. Now, before you picture actual snow falling underwater, let me paint you a different picture. Marine snow is essentially a constant rain of organic matter drifting down from the surface. Bits of deceased sea creatures, waste products, microscopic organisms, and other organic debris. The vampire squid has evolved an ingenious feeding system. It possesses 4 pairs of arms covered in finger-like projections called cirri, plus 2 incredibly long, retractable filaments. Picture this. The creature hovers motionlessly in the water column, anywhere from 600 to 900 meters down, with these mucus-covered filaments extended like sticky fishing lines. As marine snow particles drift by, they stick to these filaments, and the squid simply reels them in for a meal. What's absolutely mind-blowing is how efficiently this system works. Scientists discovered that marine snow actually has surprisingly high nutritional value, but the vampire squid still operates on an incredibly tight energy budget. Their metabolism is dramatically suppressed, much lower than any other cephalopod of comparable size. It's like they're living life in slow motion, conserving every ounce of energy for survival in this food-scarce environment. But if you think the vampire squid is weird, wait until you meet the true giants lurking even deeper. As we descend further into the abyss, we encounter creatures that seem to defy every rule of biology we know. At depths exceeding 4,000 meters, in the Hadal Zone, literally named after Hades itself, lives one of the most otherworldly creatures ever discovered, the bigfin squid. These ethereal beings hold the record as the deepest living squids on the planet, with confirmed sightings at depths of over 6,200 meters. What makes them so unsettling isn't just where they live, it's how they look. Imagine a creature with arms and tentacles stretching up to 8 meters long, held at perfectly rigid right angles to their translucent, shimmering bodies. They literally look like they have elbows, giving them an almost mechanical, robot-like appearance. That's deeply unsettling to our mammalian brains. Their translucent mantles seem to glow with an inner light, making them appear completely ghostly as they drift through the eternal darkness. Scientists are still baffled by their feeding behavior. Some theorize they drag their incredibly long arms along the seafloor, like living fishing nets, grabbing whatever edible organisms they encounter. Others suggest they might passively collect food particles and small creatures that drift into their embrace. What's truly mind-bending is imagining these creatures in their natural habitat. Picture this: total darkness, crushing pressure that would instantly destroy any surface-dwelling organism, and these alien-looking giants gracefully floating through the void with their arms spread wide, like some cosmic spider. It's the stuff of nightmares. Yet it's happening right now, thousands of meters beneath your feet. Here's where the deep sea gets really twisted. Creatures that you'd expect to be gentle, harmless filter feeders have evolved into something far more sinister. Take the predatory tunicate, for example. On the surface, tunicates are colorful, stationary creatures known as sea squirts. They're basically living water filters, peacefully straining nutrients from the surrounding water. Harmless, right? Wrong. Descend to depths between 600 and the 100 meters, and you'll encounter their deep-sea cousin, a creature that's abandoned the peaceful filter-feeding lifestyle for something much darker. The predatory tunicate looks like nature's version of a sock puppet from hell. Picture an eyeless, gaping mouth attached to a tubular body, just hanging there in the water column, waiting. Here's how this underwater trap works. Small invertebrates and crustaceans swim by, minding their own business, when they accidentally drift too close to what appears to be just another harmless deep-sea creature. Suddenly, that innocent-looking mouth snaps shut like a bear trap, and the prey finds itself trapped inside, facing a slow, agonizing end through digestion. It's like a Venus flytrap, but underwater and far more disturbing. But the predatory tunicates aren't even the most shocking example of this evolutionary switch. Meet the carnivorous sponges, creatures that completely redefine what we think we know about these simple organisms. In shallow waters, sponges are the epitome of peaceful living. They filter tiny particles from the water. They're soft and porous, and humans even harvest them for bath loofahs. Venture below 200 meters, and you'll discover their twisted relatives have evolved into something completely different. These aren't your bathroom sponges. They're living torture devices. Carnivorous sponges are covered in microscopic spears and hooks, designed to passively trap any small creature unlucky enough to brush against them. Once caught, there's no escape. The creature slowly perishes as the sponge digests it alive. The harp sponge is particularly nightmarish, with long rows of spines that look like the strings of some demonic musical instrument. Then there's the ping-pong tree sponge, with its bulbous spheres that hide deadly surprises. These stationary predators don't need to hunt. They simply wait for ocean currents to deliver their next victim directly into their deadly embrace. But passive predators are just the beginning. The deep sea is also home to some of the most aggressive and terrifying active hunters on the planet. One creature that perfectly embodies the phrase living nightmare is the gulper eel, found at depths exceeding 1,800 meters in the midnight zone. Picture this: a creature whose mouth is literally larger than the rest of its entire body. The gulper eel's jaw is so loosely hinged that it can unhinge completely, allowing it to swallow prey much larger than itself. It's like a living sleeping bag with teeth, capable of engulfing creatures that should be impossible for it to consume. In the deep sea's food-scarce environment, the ability to gorge yourself when you encounter a meal isn't just advantageous. It's essential for survival. The gulper eel can balloon its mouth to absurd proportions, not just for feeding, but also as a defense mechanism. When threatened, it inflates its massive maw to appear larger and more intimidating to potential predators. Imagine encountering this creature in the darkness. One moment you see what looks like a normal eel, and the next, a gaping void opens in front of you. But perhaps no deep-sea predator has captured our imagination quite like the anglerfish. These creatures have perfected the art of deception to a level that would make any horror movie director jealous. Most anglerfish species live below 300 meters, with some venturing as deep as 6,000 meters into the abyssopelagic zone. What makes anglerfish so terrifying isn't just their appearance, though their massive mouths filled with needle-sharp, inward-pointing teeth are certainly nightmare fuel. Strategy that's truly chilling. It's their hunting strategy that's truly chilling. They've evolved a built-in fishing rod called an elysium, topped with a bioluminescent lure called an esky. This lure glows thanks to symbiotic bacteria living inside it, creating an irresistible beacon in the absolute darkness of the deep sea. Picture yourself as a small fish in this environment. You've been swimming through complete darkness for who knows how long, desperately searching for food. It looks like salvation, maybe bioluminescent plankton or some other food source. You swim closer, drawn by this beacon of hope in the endless void. But it's a trap. As you approach what you think is your next meal, massive jaws suddenly materialize around the light. Before you can react, rows of inward-pointing teeth ensure there's no escape. You've just become dinner for one of the ocean's most efficient predators. The anglerfish's appetite is absolutely incredible. Researchers once captured a black sea devil anglerfish weighing just 8.8 grams. But its stomach contained 12.3 grams worth of eels. Think about that for a moment. This creature's stomach held 1.5 times its entire body weight in food. It's like a 150-pound human eating 225 pounds of food in a single meal. This gorging strategy is crucial in the deep sea, where your next meal might be weeks or even months away. The anglerfish's highly flexible jaws and expandable stomach allow it to take advantage of any feeding opportunity, no matter how large the prey might be relative to its own size. While some creatures use bioluminescence to lure prey to their doom, others have evolved to use light as the ultimate camouflage. This strategy, called counter-illumination, is like having a built-in invisibility cloak. Creatures produce light on their undersides that matches the faint glow filtering down from above, effectively erasing their silhouettes from the view of predators lurking below. But evolution never stops, and some predators have developed ways to see through this deception. Enter one of the most bizarre creatures in the entire ocean, the Pacific barrel-eye fish, scientifically known as Macropina microstoma. This fish looks like something a mad scientist would create after watching too many alien movies. The barrel-eye fish has enormous tubular eyes that point straight up, encased inside a completely transparent head. Yes, you read that correctly. Its skull is see-through, like a living snow globe. These massive eyes allow the fish to spot prey swimming overhead, even when that prey is using bioluminescent camouflage to hide. But here's where things get really weird. Initially, scientists were puzzled by this creature's design. How could it effectively hunt when its tiny mouth pointed in a completely different direction from its eyes? It seemed like a major evolutionary oversight. The fish could see its prey, but couldn't keep it in sight while maneuvering to catch it. Then came one of the most shocking discoveries in deep-sea biology. The barrel-eye fish's eyes can actually rotate within its transparent head. They can roll forward to look through the front of their skull as well as upward through the top, giving them a maximum arc of 75 degrees. To put this in perspective, humans can only move their eyes about 45 degrees at most. For us to replicate what barrel-eye fish do, we would essentially need to be able to look directly up at our own brains. This incredible adaptation allows the barrel-eye fish to keep its prey in constant view, even as it rotates its body vertically to snatch food swimming above it. It's like having a periscope built into your head, but far more sophisticated than anything humans have ever engineered. But the barrel-eye fish still has some light to work with in the twilight zone. What happens when we venture even deeper into realms where absolutely no sunlight penetrates? Here, in the bathypelagic and abyssopelagic zones, some creatures have abandoned vision entirely, evolving completely different survival strategies. The tripod fish is a perfect example of life adapting to total darkness. Instead of relying on sight, these remarkable creatures have evolved to become living fishing rods. They balance on the seafloor like tiny tripods, using their elongated pelvic fins as legs to hold themselves motionless and upright above the sediment. Their pectoral fins have evolved into something resembling hands, reaching forward into the water column. These fins are packed with enlarged spinal nerves that can detect the slightest changes in water currents and pressure. When small crustaceans, fish, or other potential prey swim by, the tripod fish can sense their movement through the water and snatch them without ever seeing them. It's an incredibly efficient strategy for an environment where food is scarce and energy conservation is critical. These fish can remain perfectly still for hours or even days, expending minimal energy while waiting for their next meal to literally swim into their grasp. But even the tripod fish isn't the deepest dwelling creature we've discovered. Recently, scientists exploring a marine trench near Japan made a discovery that shocked the scientific community. At a depth of 8,336 meters, deeper than Mount Everest is tall, they found a fish still thriving in conditions that should be absolutely impossible for complex life. This deepest known fish is a type of haddle snailfish, a translucent, scaleless creature that looks more like a tadpole made of living glass than any fish we're familiar with. Living in the Hadal zone, literally named after Hades, the ancient Greek underworld, this ghostly creature exists in a realm of crushing pressure, near freezing temperatures, and absolute darkness. Very little is known about how this ethereal fish survives in such extreme conditions. Its transparent body seems to glow with an inner light, making it appear almost spectral as it glides through the deepest trenches on Earth. Scientists are still studying how its cellular structure can withstand pressure levels that would instantly crush most other forms of life. From the first disappearance of sunlight in the twilight zone down to the crushing depths of the deepest ocean trenches, there's no denying that these creatures seem like they've crawled straight out of our darkest nightmares. But here's the fascinating question. Why do we find them so deeply unsettling? The answer lies in millions of years of human evolution and psychology. As intelligent, air-breathing mammals, our ancestors learned to associate bright, open spaces with safety and opportunity. The sky meant visibility, escape routes, and the life-giving warmth of the sun. Conversely, dark, enclosed spaces triggered our survival instincts. They could hide predators, offer no escape, and represented the unknown. This ancient programming runs so deep that we've embedded it in our very language and culture. We talk about cloud, nine, and heavenly heights, while depths are associated with underworld, hellish, and damned. It's no coincidence that nearly every human culture imagines paradise in the sky and punishment in the depths below. The deep-sea creatures we've explored today trigger these primal fears because they represent everything our evolutionary programming tells us to avoid. They're adapted to crushing darkness. They move in ways that seem unnatural to us, and they've evolved features that look like the stuff of nightmares. Massive mouths, glowing eyes, transparent heads, and predatory strategies that seem almost malevolent. But here's the beautiful irony that our ancestral consciousness never grasped. This terrifying underworld is actually intimately connected to our own survival. The rivers that nourish our crops, the rain that fills our reservoirs, the oxygen we breathe, all of it is part of a connected system that includes these deepest ocean depths. These alien creatures aren't invaders from another world. They're vital components of Earth's ecosystem, processing nutrients, consuming marine snow, and maintaining the delicate balance that keeps our entire planet habitable. What seems foreign and frightening is actually essential to the world we know and love. Every bizarre adaptation we've explored today, from the vampire squid's mucus-covered filaments to the barrel-eye fish's rotating eyes, represents millions of years of evolutionary innovation. These creatures haven't evolved to be creepy. They've evolved to thrive in one of the most challenging environments on Earth. The fact that they trigger our deepest fears is just an accident of our own evolutionary history. The deep sea holds countless more mysteries, creatures even stranger than the ones we've discovered, and adaptations that will continue to challenge our understanding of what's possible. These living nightmares are actually marvels of biological engineering, deserving our wonder, respect, and protection. So the next time you look out at the ocean's surface, remember that beneath those waves lies a world more alien than anything science fiction has ever imagined. And perhaps that's not something to fear, but something to marvel at. A reminder that our planet still holds secrets that can expand our minds and challenge everything we think we know about life itself. That's a wrap on today's wild journey. But here at the Zoo-phoria Show, we're just getting started exploring nature's most incredible stories. Subscribe if you want to keep discovering the shocking, hilarious, and downright unbelievable truths about the animals sharing our planet. Your next favorite animal fact is just one click away.